Good day, leaders. Welcome to the CDC training, Building Stronger Communities. I'd like to quickly find out if you can hear me clearly, just so I can be sure I'm well heard. Can I get a thumbs up, please, if you can hear me? Thank you. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Leader Tandy. Thank you, Leader Ruth. Yes, good day, everyone. I would like to especially thank you all sincerely for joining in again in the leadership training. The CDC training session for today, Building Stronger Communities. I'd like to really thank Leader Mariam. Thank you so much for being one of the first person to join this session. You were actually there when we are doing our technical just getting sure our technicals are ready. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining in. Leaders, welcome. Let me first by thanking the global president, the deputy global president. When I do this in every training, it's not just because I'm trying to massage anyone's ego, but I'm trying to acknowledge the people who are bringing us together, the visionary leaders who are behind all that we are doing in IEDF. So thank you, David Venter, the Deputy Global President, and all the leaders in IEDF. Thank you so much for your consistency, for your visionary leadership, and for the CDC leaders, emerging leaders, and leaders who are already building CDC, leaders who have finished the master classes, even the leaders who are still working on their masterclass. Thank you. Thank you for joining in this session once again. It's a quick session, as you all know. I absolutely agree that you're all busy, but tuning in at this nick of time, work hours, it's highly appreciated. Leaders, our CDC training today, it's highly important because we're talking about building a connected, accountable, multiple movement. We're sharing today global connections, opportunities, accountability, discipline, and meeting systems. We're trying to talk about the fact that leaders, you are not working alone. The act of building your CDC is not easy. I cannot say it's is an easy journey. However, you are not alone. So today's topic really talks about the value you are getting for the work you are doing for humanity, for your communities, and how we can align ourselves to getting absolute return on impact and return on investment of your time, of your personality, of your leadership in building sustainable communities. I thank you once again for joining in, and we'd like to move straight to Chapter 10, Global Network and Opportunities. Next slide, please. All right. So, leaders, Chapter 10, we are in Chapter 10 today, and Chapter 10 talks about global network and opportunities. The objective of this particular slide or this particular topic is sharing with us that you are not building alone. What is the importance of global connections? Why the CDC movement is bigger than just one community? How does collaborations leaders create opportunities for each and every one of us? And the value of being in the IEDF network. Remember, I said to us today that there are many questions. The building of your CDC is not a short walk, it's a journey. You need to, as a visionary leader, you need to share the vision of what the CDC is all about, what the needs of your communities are. You need to get stakeholder alignment and stakeholder collaborations. However, you are not alone. How does the IEDF network help you in building your CDC and getting your CDC to be visible, getting your CDC to access resources? I believe that is the question and that is the conversation we are having today. And it's a very important conversation because you are not just building for nothing. You're not wasting your time. Even for being in this session, you're not wasting your time at all. We are not chasing shadows and we are not beating the air. We're going to be listening to some of our leaders. I'll be asking you questions on your perception of the work you are doing or the work you intend to do, and how do you intend to use this network to project yourself, globally, and of course within Africa and globally. So one of the biggest reasons communities remain weak is because we work in isolation. You might be doing an amazing project or amazing program in Pumalanga, but that's where it ends. Or it might just be within South Africa. The scope remains isolated just within your country or within your community. However, today we're going to be learning how we can now connect your community to other African communities, beyond Africa communities, also to the global communities. People struggle alone. Businesses struggle alone. If you remember, we are saying the IEDF network. Your network is your net worth. If you don't know people, you will never be able to, achieve so much in life. So people struggle alone, businesses struggle alone, and leaders struggle alone. So through the CDC, we will not struggle alone. But when leaders connect, opportunities increase. And we're going to be talking about that opportunities today. So the CDC system is not only about local meetings. It's not only about local projects or local program. It's about building a global movement that connects other leaders of like mind. According to your CDC handbook, if you have been reading it, but if you have not, it's fine. When we register our CDC's leaders, we become part of a global network of visionary leaders, just like each and every one of us today, committed to the IEDF CDC grid. And why does the global network matter? It matters because communities connect globally. Opportunities increase, partnerships are formed, and I'm going to give you practical examples. Leaders learn from one another, and growth accelerates. Leaders, I want to just give a quick example of how this is very important. We are all building our CDCs across countries and across communities. When we come together as a network, if you are very inclined to how international fundings come in, you get more funding when your impact is more. If your impact is local, you are really not going to get so much funding when your impact is local. You might not even attract visibility when your impact is local. But when you write for funding and your impact is Africa-based, in other words, you have beneficiaries in other countries, aligning collaborators and beneficiaries in other countries, aligning with your project of work in your community, you get attention and you get visibility. So if it's an agricultural project, for instance, and you connect with other leaders on this call who are also building CDCs in the agricultural sector in their country, now you have the opportunity, you have your idea. However, when you are writing for that funding, you are connecting with other leaders who can mobilize. If you're feeling me, I need to see your reactions. Who can mobilize other leaders to work with you, and your impact, your scope is increasing, and therefore you are able to get more money. Now, this idea that started in a local community becomes expanded to other local communities in Africa. That's it. That's how we are working as a network. What if it's a creative project? The same thing, the same methodology. Your ideas from that little community can be expanded to other communities in Africa because your CDC is within a network. So I'm sharing with you the value proposition. All right. And we get partnerships. We form partners. You can't do it alone. If we have never met in this platform, I may never have met a leader honest. I may never have met a leader Miriam. I may never have met Beth. There are many people through this network. You can harness amazing potentials. You can harness resources. You can harness ideas. And that's where partnerships are formed. Leaders learn from one another. I'm talking about the global network right now. We learn from one another. What is working in your country might not work in my country. So if you want to come to my country to do a project as a result of expanding your scope, you now need me to contribute, to collaborate, so that I can give you examples. I can give you expert knowledge of what works in South Africa. And you can come to South Africa, replicate that project in South Africa. So leaders, this is the value proposition. You must know we are not laboring for nothing. We are not laboring for nothing. We, as long as we build structures, we can create resources. As long as we build structures, we can create resources. And we learn from one another, and growth accelerates. Opportunities are shared. The people are empowered as we build our CDC. So when leaders are disconnected, we can't grow so much. Connection expands connectivity. There's so much you know that I don't know. There's so much I know that you don't know. So when we connect together, we build capacity. So that's one of the reasons for, or rather why the global networks really matter. So I'm going to go to the benefits of global network. What are the benefits? Support. The first benefit is support. For every time we build our CDC, remember leaders, I said to us, you are not alone. When we build our CDCs, we get support. What type of support? We can get resources, we can get manpower, we can goodwill, we can get support with, for instance, marketing your program on social. You know the age we're living with right now, leaders, on social media. Imagine if you build a program somewhere in Uganda. No one knows that community. Through the IEDF network, we package that program. Now, the merrier, the better. We put it on on different social media networks, and each and every one of us begins to like your project, to begin to like whatever you're doing. We're getting attractions. We're getting people to be attracted to what you're doing. You do not know so many, as much as your networks are. You might have many networks, but however, your networks are local. If you are in Uganda, you probably have 80-20 rule, 80% of your networks in Uganda, maybe 20% outside Uganda. But when you are in the IEDF network, leaders, you have 80% of your networks outside Uganda and maybe 20% within Uganda. These are the possibilities I'm sharing with you. Shared knowledge, leaders. Shared knowledge. You know as much as you have been trained to. You cannot be a lawyer and a doctor and an accountant and a trainer at the same time. You are one person. Yes, you might have experience, but your expert knowledge is in one area. You could be jack of all trade, but I tell you, leaders, you cannot be master of all. If you can call with me, let me have your thumbs up. You could be jack of all trades, but you cannot be master of all. You are master of one. So when we have shared knowledge in IEDF, it means that leaders, you might have a beautiful project, but you don't even know how to write for funding. Is there a leader within the network who we can organize to teach your CDC how to write for funding? That is it. Shared knowledge. People are here to give us several knowledges on how we can expand, because the goal is one: to eradicate poverty. We have agreed, we have committed to it. So when it comes to shared knowledge, we are liable to share knowledge with one another. Collaboration. We speak about collaboration every time throughout the leadership masterclass, in our CDC meetings, in our even in the CDC meetings. You are collaborating with others. Remember, in collaboration, through the IEDF networks, you are getting more beneficiaries of your programs or your project, more beneficiaries, rather than having 50 in that community in Tanzania or in Zambia. Through the IEDF network, you can have 300, you can have 500, because you're collaborating with another leader in that space, all right, to build, to replicate that project there. Together, we can all write and be able to get resources. And then you move to that country and you expand your project there. So you are collaborating for beneficiaries. You are collaborating for partnerships. You are collaborating for ideas to expand whatever you are doing in your CDC. So that's why the CDC structure is very important, because once you know your needs, you then need to now analyze who are the collaborators, who are the partners, and what do you require. But we need to have you in the IEDF CDC portal to be able to help you. Now, the training opportunities for our CDCs. The training opportunities for our CDCs. This is what we're here for. Leaders, we are servant leaders. We are servant leaders. We can do, please take note, we can do free training. But do you know what? Strategically, nothing is ever free. So when we do free trainings, we can write to your government. Remember, we are helping even the government to make a change. And when they see that your change is visible and viable, you will get support with your stakeholders. All right? Now, you can call it a free training, but somebody is paying for it. Do you agree with me? You can say it's a free training, but somebody is paying for it. Then we can have customized training. I'm talking about training opportunities. We can have customized training within our CDC. If you are working on a project, we can do, for instance, a particular sector training for you to be able to have meaningful impact on that project. However, that's the reason why we need somebody in your CDC who is the training officer, the executive who is in charge of training. That is the person who analyzes the training needs of your CDC and brings it up, even in meetings like this or in many platforms, shares with the training sector, what training needs do you require? Then we can now strategically work together to say, how do we then access funding for this training? If it is a South African CDC, you do know that we've got CETA. We've got CETAs across all the sectors. Can we harness the opportunities for the CETA training? If it is outside South Africa, it is in Namibia, do we have skilled trainers in Namibia? We can consult for your CDC to tell you the opportunities for that training needs in your country. Now, these are the opportunities we have when we are within the IEDF network. There are many other networks, all right, globally, that does what we are. Perhaps, maybe they have this same model, but this is where we are. This is us together. We are building something stronger. We're improving on what has failed before. And we're improving these systems so that we can make meaningful impact in our communities. Leaders, we have business and economic opportunities through our CDCs. There is no one small CDC. There is no CDC across sectors who is better than one. We are all complementing each other. If you look at the Vision 2030 goals, you'll find out that every goal is interjected into other goals. No one goal is a standalone. If people are hungry, they cannot work. If people are ill, health and wellness, they cannot work. If people are not trained, they cannot get capacity. All right? So this shows you that every Vision 2030 goal is interrelated. So the business opportunities are also interrelated. Are we together? The business opportunities are also interrelated. So we are building several platforms for business opportunities within the IED, but we can't do so much if we don't see you in the system and know what you are doing. For instance, I just want to bring an example. We've got the MET conference, the Market Economy Treatment Conference within the IEDF. Now, this is where we are building international trade connections. But come on, leaders, trade is community driven. Every great potentials of a country is community based. The diamonds are within community. The golds are within community. The fabrics are within community. Everything that becomes an economic value for a country is first of all in a community. Why are you not harnessing those opportunities? Why are you not harnessing those minerals in your community? You know why? We are not yet structured so that we can meet stakeholders to understand what we have and what we can give to your country. We can give to Cote d'Ivoire. We can give to different countries. It starts with you. So you must take ownership of what you have in your community through your CDC. And because we don't have CDCs running in communities, leaders, that is why our government leaders take advantage. They bring people, they bring investors, and the communities don't benefit from some of these opportunities lying within the community. Imagine having vast land in a community and you just have our local governments and our leaders give these lands to foreign investors. Why? We don't have a CDC in that community who have looked at the opportunities of that community, designed programs to support the local government to say, we know what we have and we can harness it and we can build and give capacity to the people. But because nobody's thinking, we're just expecting saviors to come from somewhere. At the end of the day, it's all about exploitation. So communities must rise. What do you have? What can you build from what you have? And get collaborators, get partners, even government partners, to know that we know what we have and we know what we can do with it. And we know how we can supply to other countries through the IEDF CDCs. So that's how we build business and economic opportunities. When leaders connect, communities benefit. When leaders connect, communities benefit, like we're connecting now. As I share with you now, there are many opportunities in your community, in your country that you are seeing. And you can harness it together because we are connecting and we're probing our minds to be research-based. Somebody says a need that has not been researched or a political need. But through the CDC, we actually have research-based needs and we develop true transformational programs that can benefit the people. All right. Next slide, please. The global directory. The global directory. So through the CDC, we need to have registered websites. You register your CDC, and I believe some of us are already doing that. I'm going to quickly finish up and allow inputs, communication, because remember, the CDC trainings are very agile and we need inputs from some of our leaders, what you are doing and how we can connect and help you. So we register our CDCs through the website or the app. What does this do for us when we put our CDCs in the global directory? It helps us with visibility. I've mentioned that before. We get to know you. We get to know the uniqueness of your country. There's so much beauty in Africa. There's so much resource in Africa. So we get to know what your country can give to other African countries. It gives us it gives each and every one of us visibility and a high level of appreciation. We've got young people leaving Africa for opportunities outside Africa. However, they are not really harnessing the best of themselves, because they go to these countries and they do miniature jobs. But through our CDCs, we can appreciate what we have and build our young people to understand what they have in their country and how they can harness these potentials in their country and reduce the global challenges of immigration. Talk to a young African. His future ambition is to go to Europe. What does he want to do there? I don't know. All right. But guess what, leaders? People in Europe, they don't account themselves to have made so much global impact if they have not entered Africa. If you agree with me, give me your thumbs up. Other countries, the only way they know that they've made real impact is when they are in Africa, not even when they are in other European countries. You know why? This is where the resources are. But we are running away to other European countries because we're not building our young people to see the beauty in Africa and how we can come together with one voice, create opportunities for ourselves. So that's why it's important that you are visible, leaders. You are visible. You get exposure. You get exposure. You are exposed to so many other opportunities in other countries. You're exposed to come together. You're exposed to harness program going on in other. Look, there is so much more than you know. I tell you, there is so much more. If I ask each and every one of you leaders to share with me what is happening in your country, you'll be shocked that many of us don't know. So that exposure is key for us, networking. That can never be overemphasized. The importance of network. When I started my communication, I said to you leaders, your network is your network. Blessed is a man that has men. That, you don't have just money, but you also have men. Because what money cannot buy, men can get you. I tell you, your network is your network. So when you are a person who commands men, you are somebody who will indefinitely get resources. That's the importance of networking. And then, of course, when you network, you begin to then collaborate. All right. So that's why it's important to put your CDC in the portal or the website. So in chapter 11, we're going to be talking about weekly accountability. Remember, leaders, I had just talked about structure. If we don't have structures, now I'm not saying this because it's that easy, but it's a discipline. And you start with baby steps. The first step is be there. There's something about showing up, the power of showing up. Many of you could have been anywhere else today, but the power of showing up. I could have decided to be anywhere else. The power of showing up. The power of showing up shows that you're a visionary leader. Visibility leaders creates opportunity. Whatever you are doing consistently, someone is watching. Whatever you're doing consistently, someone is watching. And at long run, you will see the dividends of consistency. Nobody achieves anything by starting today and ending up tomorrow. And then you pick up tomorrow, and then you change your mind. It just means that you are not stable. All right. So if people cannot find you, if people can't find you, they find you today, they don't find you tomorrow, it just means that there is really no purpose for what you are doing. It's not easy, leaders. I can't tell you today that it's easy because our CDC classes are practical. It can't be easy. Nothing good is easy, but the power of showing up. The power of showing up. The power of the bigger picture. What is the bigger picture? What do you really want to achieve? What is the vision? Where have you aligned yourself with the Vision 2030? Do you see yourself in it? Have you seen how you can contribute to it? If you are not a contributor, there is no way you can be consistent. if you see yourself that I've got something to contribute. So the leaders, my question to you today is that, do you have something to contribute? The global poverty eradication. Do you have something to contribute? No matter how little it is. What about business empowerment? Now, these are the bigger pictures I'm sharing. The bigger pictures, which is the Vision 2030, the global poverty eradication. Now, there are many institutions who have this vision. However, their methodologies may not be the same. If everyone methodology has ever really worked, why are they still poor people? It just means that we can contribute to making a difference. I'm asking, if all the international organizations in the world and even in our local countries have really met their targets and their visions, why are there still poor people in our communities? Why is Africa still where it is? And why is the world still where it is? You know why? Because there are still people who have not played their part. And it's me and you. There are still people who have not put structures in place to add to the eradication of poverty. So let's not hopefully think that, oh, this goal is just for the United Nations. Do you know how many years the United Nations have been existing? They need us as much as we need them. So when we put our CDCs together, it shows you that technically you can contribute to the eradication of poverty. You can. When you build business empowerment in your community, you are contributing. There is a saying, a proverb that says, little drops forms an ocean. Little drops. Those little drops of activities in our communities forms and builds an ocean. So we are contributors to the eradication of poverty. That's the big vision. Youth activation. Beyond activating the youth for outcomes, the first thing is to change the mind shift of young people in our communities. Do they own the community? Do they believe in the community? Or they're looking for escape routes outside their communities? So we are activating the minds of our youth. By the time we change their mindset, we are changing the way we work and, of course, the outcomes in our communities. I'm just sharing with you, leaders, the big vision. Leadership multiplication. We always said, even in the master classes, that we are building leaders with the same IEDF mindset. After all said and done, leaders, we are looking for who is the IEDF leader in a community. Who is the IEDF leader in a country? One day you will get that IEDF leader as a president. That leader is a servant leader. Every leader comes from a community, from a family. Leaders are not they're not aliens. They don't fall from the sky. They're not even born. They are made. They are first made by their mindset, the information they have. So for every time we are building our CDC's leaders, we are building leaderships. We are building changed mindsets of how we can lead in Africa. It starts from your CDC, then transmits to the whole community, then to the country, to the province, or the county, then the country. That leader comes from that community. So the leaders we have today in all our government stratas were first of all people who were in communities. So it's grassroots. That's why leadership multiplication must start from grassroots. So a CDC may begin in one community, leaders, but the impact can be reached across nations. And I've already shared with you, I'm sure you are seeing it, how it works. It can really be across nations. So that is how we build our vision and accountability in leadership, in our CDCs. Leaders, we are encouraged to have weekly meetings. We are encouraged to have weekly meetings. And, it's better to aim for the sky and eventually stop at the cloud than to never even have any any projections of what you're aiming at. So we are aiming, leaders, to have weekly meetings. Is it that easy? Absolutely not, but it's intentional. The meetings are intentional. And what is the objective of having our weekly meetings? It's to help us to be accountable to what we are doing, to keep track. Again, leaders, it also helps us to build relationship. I don't believe that leadership is all about goals. No, it is the people. The people help you to achieve the goal. For every time you are in touch with your people, they know you care. Imagine if you don't meet with them every week, they know you don't care. So let's make it a culture to care for the people. Remember, love is the language. Oh, leader, I haven't seen you. If I meet you every week and then one week you're not there, I take notice. Oh, I haven't seen you. Are you okay? How's the family? That is it. Leaders, be more interested in the people than just the goal. Because there is no goal without people. When you look behind, there must be somebody you are leading. I'm writing a book called Leading from Behind. There must be people following you. You only get to know their status, how they are doing, when you meet with them weekly. All right? You meet with them in 2 weeks. A lot would have happened in 2 weeks, leaders, I tell you. All right? So it's a discipline. You are building your team. And for every time you meet weekly, with my experience, you are forming with them. You are forming. Leaders, it takes a while to really work with people, if you agree with me. People have question mark. Leaders, people have question mark. I'm glad health and wellness executives are here. People have question mark. When you deal with people, you find out that we are the most complicated being on earth. So for every gap you give people, they lose track. For every gap you give people, they are distracted. So when we meet with them, leaders, every week, we keep them on track. We keep the vision on track. We check ourselves. We encourage ourselves. That's me. And I could ask you when I'm getting your feedbacks, share with me the importance of meeting people weekly in your projects, in your company, in all that you do. You have weekly meetings. It's important because you check and balance. The most important thing is keep it agile, keep it real, keep it lively, and not let it not be some boring meetings. All right. So leaders, it's important because it gives us accountable, and accountability is very essential. Okay. It also protects the mission. It also, like I said, you check and balance everyone. You need to know how they're doing and are they still aligned? Because people will definitely fall back. But when we check on them weekly, we get to know, are you still aligned? Are we still together? You need to be sure that we are still together. You need to continue getting buy-in until you totally see performance. Leaders, you don't bring people together and you expect them to start performing immediately. No, there must be team building activities, and those comes in weekly meetings. All right. Then we measure if truly we are making impact. If I cannot call on a leader to do A, B, C, D, I have really not influenced that leader yet. So we need to measure our leadership impact when we meet with them weekly. When you call for meetings to people up here, I'm also asking myself, leaders, so what I'm sharing with myself. When I call for meetings to people up here, it shows your impact. We are over 33 here in these CDC meetings in an afternoon. It shows impact. It shows this training matters. You are gaining something. If there's no impact, people will not come. So it also measures your level of impact when you have your meetings and people show up. So leaders, it's important. It's not as easy as I'm saying it, but it's worth the work. It's worth the work. Many organizations fail for one reason. Nobody checks progress. Nobody's checking progress. You are making assumptions. Leaders, let's not lead with assumptions. Let's lead intentionally, okay? Even when people are excited. Excitement is not all we need when we are leading. We need critical thinking. We need, analysis. We need inputs. We need, people who can speak for you. We need people with wisdom. So beyond being excited, we come together so that we can share deep insights. You know, iron, the Bible says, sharpens iron. We sharpen ourselves in this meeting. So that's why accountability really exists. Leaders, we should never be ashamed to share our pain. In this journey of building CDCs, in making transformational impact in our communities, we will have pain. There will be pain. There will be challenges. But when you bottle it up and you wait, imagine if your meetings are monthly and you wait to share that pain, a lot of things would have happened. A lot of things would have gone wrong. There will be a lot of misconceptions. People will leave because pain is not shared quickly. So when we have those quickly meetings, those quickly weekly meetings, we are sharing our pain, we're sharing our gain, we are mobilizing, we're keeping the vision alive, and we are continuing with the work. So that's why accountability is key. It's key for reporting, it's key for measuring progress, it's also key for showing progress and taking responsibility. Right? So that's why accountability is very important. And why do we report? We report because we need to be active. You must identify, just like soldiers, when a soldier is hurt, the soldier is removed from active service. Do you see? From active service and put aside. So we need to know leaders who are in active service when we meet and we report. And we need to train people, continuous training. We talked about that. If you were in the leadership masterclass yesterday, we talked about the continuity of training. Training is very key because the world is agile, the world is changing, innovations are coming. We need to be abreast in all that we need to do to make sure we are making meaningful impact. When we report, we are also creating opportunities in our communities for everyone to see. And we have multiple multiplication of progress when we report. We are able to see how we can support and how this progress can then be multiplied. So a movement that doesn't measure progress cannot manage growth. A movement that doesn't measure progress cannot manage growth. Whatever is not written can never be referred to, and it never happened. All right. When you write, you've got a portfolio of evidence. Nobody's even going to sponsor you where we don't even, when whatever you're doing in your community is not documented. So those are the importance of reporting and having meetings. It gives you evidence of work. It gives clarity of purpose. And of course, continuity. You can, a project manager is as good as his last project. However, if you do not have a project document, nobody's going to take over from you. All right. So, for instance, you leave the country to another country. You've done amazing work in your country, but there's no documentation. How will you be able to get somebody for continuity? You can't continue because there's no reference of what you've done, how you did it, what were your pains, what were your wins, what were your methodology, and therefore there is no continuity for that project. That's why documentations are very key in every project. So it gives us discipline. It gives us discipline. So that's the importance of us having meetings, leaders, not because of course, we're all matured and doing amazing work. But when we come together as a team, we must structure and respect the way of work, which is called WOW, and of course, the modus operandi of the organizations we've decided to form together. Even if I'm to form a business with Leader Honest, we're not just going to form a business together with just word of mouth. We're going to put our structures in place and agree on how we're going to build together. That's how it works. So when we come together and how we're going to be reporting, that's how it works. So leaders, we must be process driven. Beyond the outcome, can I check the process? Beyond the outcome, can I check your process? Your process, if your process is right, it can be duplicated. All right? It can be improved on if your process is right. So we're not just looking at the outcome, we're looking at the process. And that's what reporting does. Reporting gives us process so that if there is a problem, we can do, an analysis to understand why this impact did not take place. If we look at the process, we can be able to identify the gaps. So that's how it works, leaders. That's how we can transform our communities, by having proper structures in place. So progress becomes visible when we are accountable, and victories can be measured. Leaders, I thank you once again. So weekly CDC is absolutely important. We have already understood that, why the meetings matters, and how it is important that we can report and be very comfortable at it. It's not an easy journey, I say again. But then I'm going to quickly share with us the structure of the meeting before I get quick feedbacks and we round up. Leaders, I want to share with you something that I have researched on. My research has taught me that what you call today as soft skills are no more soft skills. They are even the hard skills. So technical skills, for instance, you are a programmer, you are whatever you are, technically, you call them technical skills, hard skills. They are not. Do you know that the soft skills are really the hard skills? Why do you think nations are fighting today? Why do you think communities are fighting today? Because they have not learned how to come together, put a structure in place, and be able to have effective negotiations, meetings. Leaders, as you hands-on have meetings in your communities through your CDC, you are teaching. You are actually teaching the hard skills, which is communication. When you put people together and you expect them to achieve something, it won't happen because all of them are technically fine. It will happen because we can put ourselves together, we can agree on an agenda, we can analyze that agenda, and how do we present that agenda. These things are hard skills. Do you know that? So the harder, the simpler you think communication is, all right? Sharing an agenda, understanding the purpose of the meeting, you think it's really soft skill? Leaders, is not a soft skill anymore. Check it. It's hard skill. Because I have learned from experience that many leaders do not know how to communicate. So leaders, in our meetings, we are taught how to communicate effectively, communicating the vision, communicating the agenda, putting a structure to your meetings. I'm talking about meetings right now. Putting a structure to your meetings. Who are you? What is the grid? What do we believe in? All right. How do we make our reports? What is needed? You are giving people opportunities to lead, opportunities to communicate. You are also understanding the strengths of your team members when you put your meetings together. So you see, leaders, hands-on, you are teaching people how to actually put their communication together and be able to send that message, get the alignment, and be able to make impact. Right. If I tell you right now, hold a meeting and I'm there to watch, I will see gaps if you've never been taught. What you've not done before, leader, you've not done it before. So as we build in our meetings, as I begin to round up, as we build in our meetings, as we have these meetings, don't see it as just you're just putting people together. You are actually teaching people how to come together, have a purpose, be able to align and communicate and influence others to join them in that purpose. That's what meeting does. I am a product of many meetings. If you are a product of many meetings, let me see your thumbs up. I am a product of many meetings. For every time I take these CDC trainings, I'm improving because I'm learning how to articulate my thoughts together and communicate effectively and get a better outcome. Leaders, so when you do these things, know that it's also part of training when you have meetings and you're able to identify what the structure, what the purpose of the meeting is, what the agenda of the meeting is. You put these things in place, you present it, and people are learning. They're learning by example. So that is the work we do through our CDCs. Leaders, I want to thank you for this amazing time. I believe you learned a lot from this session, the value proposition. To end this, we are working in unity, in clarity, and encouragement. I just want to quickly ask one or two leaders to share with us, how has it been with you trying to build your CDC in 2 minutes as we now round up the session. How has it been with you building your CDC? What has been your challenges? How do you think today's class has helped you to really understand what you are doing? To know that you're not wasting your time and you really believe in this and you think you can truly achieve something in your community. Please, leaders, if you are free wherever you are, you can unmute your mic, raise your hands, and I'm able to pick it up and I can call you to just give us an input from today's class. What have you learned so far? How's it been for you? If you have started your CDC, if you're about to start your CDC, how do you think you want to go about it now that we have learned in this class today? Over to you, leaders. Please unmute your mic and let's engage. Anyone? Leader Honest? Please go ahead, Leader Honest. How are you?
Okay. Yeah, greetings from Malawi.
Wow.
Yes,
Welcome.
I'm from Malawi. So I can say this is my first class online for the CDC program. But the way I have enjoyed this class, it has given me an encouragement that as I'm in the process of introducing this program in my country, I will make sure that I'm one of the people who are changing the mindset of the youth, starting from the grassroots, which is the community. It is now time they need to see the opportunities they have in their communities and be the change in their community so that we can benefit in all the resources we have by building the networks with our friends who are also in the same system. They can be from the community, from the nation, even from other countries who are connected to our program. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you, Leader. Amazing. Leaders, please let's give a big hand and love to Leader Honest. This is his first time and he's seen opportunities. He's aligning with the vision. He's seen what he can contribute. He is a young man in Malawi, leaders. Malawi needs Leader Honest. Honest, thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution. We will be doing more. There is the masterclass, Honest. I'll be getting in touch with you so that you can go through the masterclass. And I need to understand from you, Honest, the opportunities in Malawi. The opportunities in Malawi. Amazing. Thank you so much, Leader Honest. Thank you. I'm glad you got something from this training today. Last one, any other leader who wants to speak to us, please, as we round up. But really, if this is all we got today, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Thank you so much. Any other leader? All right, GP, is that you?
Yes, good
It's
afternoon.
you. Hi.
Yes,
Okay.
always a blessing to sit under your teaching. Thank you so much for the wisdom you've imparted. I saw no one raise their hands, and I thought, let me share my experience on your question on the formation of a CDC or of my CDC, because I formed a CDC as well. As a matter of fact, the IEDF is a CDC. So when I identified my calling to make a difference for small businesses, it was after my business went through severe financial difficulty due to mistakes and decisions that I made that weren't very good in my business. When we came out of that, I felt that I wanted to use this experience to help other businesses not make the same mistakes. Because as a first generation business owner, we never had mentors. And I don't come out of a lineage of where there's business people. My forefathers, my parents, they were employees, and so we started a business, and it was trial and error. And when I started my CDC, I wanted to assist businesses and create some form of mentorship or leadership to help businesses not go through the same pain that I went through, having almost lost everything. So I am a very quiet person. I don't talk a lot. I'm the kind of person, I see you laughing, Leader Mary. I'm the kind of person, well, okay, let me say I was. I have matured quite a lot and I've learned skills. As you said, the soft skills has become my hard skills. So I am very proficient in the hard skills you've just spoken about. And when I started my CDC, I was very quiet. I was a very shy person. I would be the person, if I come into the room, I'd sit in the corner. I wouldn't talk to anybody. For those who know me, they will say that that is me. And when I started my CDC, I found one person that was able to talk. And this person would be the networker, and I would then share the vision. And we worked together. We were two. And then we became three, and then we became five. And it was just an idea, just a concept. And I live in Cape Town in South Africa. And the idea was just to help the businesses in my community. This is what it was. And then people left. Then we had more people, and some joined, and others didn't. And it was trial and error, trial and error. And what I can say 4 years later, consistency. I think this is the key word I want to put through. Consistency. What started as a seed to help businesses in my community today is a movement that spans over 20 African countries, leaders. It's across 3 continents. We are here today in this meeting because of a CDC that was started by someone that couldn't even speak. So I want to encourage you. The lessons you are learning here is going to accelerate what you are doing. What you might have today in your spirit as I want to help my community. Watch out, leaders. We are building a global movement through you. Your vision, your passion is going to stretch across continents, across countries, and we are giving you the system. Apply what you are learning here. I am testimony to you, talking to you today. And I want you to see what yours can become. If God has managed to move what was an idea in my mind for my community to a global movement in 3 years, how much sooner can yours become a global movement? Now that you don't have to make the mistakes we have made, but you are learning the systems that's working for us. That's my contribution today. So thank you, Leader Mary. Thank you, leaders.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, GP. What a beautiful contribution. Thank you for giving us this visionary contribution. Absolutely. I saw my leader, Susan. I saw my leader, Susan, raise her hand. Leader Susan, I know we're almost rounding up, but you are my woman leader. So I just need to give you this opportunity to talk to us in 2 seconds, leader. Do you still want to share, Leader Susan? I saw your hands up. Over to you, my leader.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Afternoon, everyone. Okay, in a nutshell, it's mainly on the regular communication is what will build us up as a CDC. So we did start our CDC, but I saw that the people are not so motivated. So I've seen from this meeting that when we keep regular contact, then it will translate into motivation for the members. So regular contact is the gold.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, my leader. The power of showing up, leaders, the power of showing up. And that was one of the key things that the GP just shared with us. Leaders, thank you so much. Leader Honest, thank you. We're looking forward to having you more do amazing things in Malawi. You will learn a lot, leader, and we are holding your hands together. You are not alone. Thank you, leaders, for joining in. The session is recorded, so we'll share with everyone so that we can reference to what we have learned today, to the voices that have spoken today. It was just not my voice. It was the voice of Leader Susan, Leader Honest, with the GP, and all the thumbs up and all the love. Thank you, leaders. Looking forward to next week. Thank you, Beth, for being my technical support. You are simply amazing. Thank you, everyone, and looking forward to seeing you next week, leaders. Let's get working and let's get the reports in. Be encouraged to continue. Let's continue registering our CDCs. Build your CDC structures. Take your time and make sure you put the right people in place. And God is with us. I tell you, leaders, we are making a difference. God bless you, everyone, and see you next week. GP, your hand.